Now, in Greater Manchester, there is a setting trend for fantasy homes. And if you have not heard of man caves, you need to listen to this episode. If you are into architecture, if you need to understand how entrepreneurs work in, the luxury business style, or if it is design or entrepreneurship, this is the place you need to be. I'm Tim. I'm your host on the Buzz. I'm with you all the way till 3 p.m. So stay tuned on this to understand what more. The guy's name is basically, his name is Ronald, and he talks about a lot of investments or how people like to customize their houses. Now, if you watched episodes like, Pimp My Ride, or if you watched things around, Open Door, you need to see this episode. You need to see this guy's work. He basically is a designer, and he works with a $500,000 garage alone. Now, these are some of his unique clients. These are high net worth individuals that actually work around a lot of design. They invest a lot into their house designs. The guy's name is Simon Evans, and he works a lot in Manchester. He's got a couple of listings. He's got a couple of houses that he's done. You need to check these out. These are James Bond style, Batman kind of things. It's super cool because you look at the designs. It's all glass. It's all from the garage, from the wine cellar, the games rooms, all these. Even the pools have floating beds. How cool is that, right? Now, this is super cool. So he talks about how he works with his clients, how he customizes things for his clients, and even runs into talking about the shells, talking about the designs, talking about the little details as well, right? So if you're actually keen on understanding, stay tuned into this episode as I talk to you about all these guys. Feel free to let me know what your questions are. This is a live show, so the questions are always going to be answered. Comment on this video here. I'm going to get all your questions, and then we can actually get the conversation going from there. Now, we are Relax Radio. We are showing you all content related to business, tech, entrepreneurship on this show. This is The Buzz, and I'm going to be with you all the way till 3. Stay tuned as I show you a couple of videos of who we are at Relax Radio. And after that, I'm going to be breaking this story down for you. So Simon Evans is one of the world's most demanded interior designers, right? And now the branding he's given himself in terms of man cave, garage, conventions. These are all in Manchester. And if you want to understand, how this solo entrepreneur basically works with his design interiors, he talks about how even transforming a garage 7 years ago, some of these results look phenomenal. I mean, talking about one of his clients, Giovanni's. David Giovanni, right? Now he's invested £5 million into his, house in Hale, and this looks so stylish. He's got McLarens, he's got Aston Martins, and he's got a couple of Range Rovers in his house alone. Now this house basically has a £500,000 underground party pad. Now that £500,000 is just for the party pad. And then when you're talking about a games room, there's another $40,000 invested there into the wine cellar. It looks superb. I want you to check this out. Just Google Man Cave if you want to see what this Hale property looks like. And now, obviously, it's all supercars. He's got a revolving turntable for one of his McLarens, and the design basically is shortlisted to I mean it's inspired by Iron Man, Batman. And these interiors are basically, these are shown in Netflix's Amazing Interiors. Now, this is channel £5 million garage conversions, and people are spending over £150,000 on cars now, and this is their most prized possession. And although you may just see a concrete box sometimes, where you open the door and hit a breeze block on wall, this just does not work, right? Now, what I'm talking about is, understanding where your precious handbag on a concrete floor would be like, and then trying to understand how, if it comes to protecting, yourself or your garage, you need to understand the whole journey of the house, right? So he talks about how to each house there's a whole journey to it, and you need to understand consistently. You need to keep, you need to understand the journey to. Or it's similar to, I'd say, if you are in website design, if you are in app design, you need to understand how your user is basically going to go through your website, what their experience will be like. So this guy Simon basically talks about a lot of this, and he talks about how when you're designing your house, there is a design by Uber near Nasfred, and these are sought to be after celebrities, footballers, millionaires, and billionaires that go to work on their fantasy home projects. Now, that is a cool concept, I'd say. And when you're talking about Simon's Garage, these current projects are basically inclusive of the interiors on an entire row of houses. Now, these billionaires Euro Garages is a brothers in Lancaster, and a private skyscraper. Now, this private skyscraper home alone is one of the billionaire's houses. The guy lives in Mumbai, and these are called cave transformations for a reason. Now, these clients have basically involved or included particular names like Raheem Sterling, Phil Neville, Mark Rashford, and I mean, this is super cool because this guy has basically got someone like Mark Rashford on his client list, and to have that. I mean, that caliber of people, we only know these people, right? Mark Wright, Michelle Keegan, and Christine McGuinness. Now, these are cool names. I'm super, I'm happy for this guy, honestly, like to come to the point where he's got a ton of influence in terms of the design story. He's got his networking done right, and he's got his work done right, actually, right? Because in my opinion, that's what speaks at the end of the day. And he talks about when it comes to all of his clients, he wants to know what would actually enhance in their lives. Now, people come to them as specialists in the field of man caves from a design perspective. So they've got a number of those on the go at the moment, but they've become the next level of what they're doing right now. So to understand that a garage is not just a garage; it's more of a lifestyle-driven concept that you need to understand before the design is done alone, right? Now, to understand, okay, if you are going to bring in people there, if you're going to bring in your friends there, your family, or for what purposes. Now, these garages also have their designs separated by glass right next to the wine cellars. And now the wine cellars look amazing. They look about 8 feet tall with, glasses all the way to the ceiling. And, these designs are just super. I mean, it's well lit. The lightings are different for each room. The flooring, the ceilings, the materials, the colors, these are all amazing details. So talking about, how you might have your ordinary kitchen for day-to-day living, you have also a gym, the pool, the cinema, and these go down to the man cave as they all flow in one, right? Now, you could be, basically sat in your own bar while looking at your cars or through your bronze frame window, he says, and then talking about how your dining table could be another prized possession as well. Or you could be, talking about how your private club, your wellness facility is all at home. Now, this is your gym, right? Now, this is, you basically don't want to leave the house here. The balancing factor always is, how do you make space comfortable for you as just a family? My personal opinion, you need to have, consideration in the lines of how much of design is done in the transformation or the reusability, or the design considerations that are done when the maintenance considerations that are done when you're designing these houses. Now, these these conversions have basically cost about £50 million cost for a single car turnable mirrored with ceiling and resin floors. Now, these can go up to off-the-scale figures for a skyscraper conversion, but then Simon's businesses have all come up in personal flair for interior design. Now, he's pointed out with his own interiors in Alderley Edge called Home to Roost. These are basically coming in the lines of a 25-year-old in 1999, inspiring him to come up with these designs. Through the shop, Simon would basically look at improving their homes. His story is pretty inspirational. He's basically started with selling, items to complement people's houses, but then he's basically longer down the line, he's headed to bigger projects. The Home to Roost interior shop is where it all started for Simon. Alderley Edge. I mean, you can Google it as well. Like I said, now Simon has basically wanted to launch his own furniture importing business after buying a huge empty warehouse in Knutsford. And then, this design alone, I mean, I think this is pretty cool because, he's got a couple of pictures with David Giovanni. And he talks about, the £1 million garage conversions for Channel 5. They're basically, posing next to a Ferrari right outside his house. This is by Uber Designs. And then realizing that the barn that he had so much more potential than he set out to transform the luxurious, headquarters of Designed by Uber and Uber Interiors. Now, these were launched in 2009. And now with the team of 18, there are 18 designers, architectural designers, and the business has completed over 400 projects around the world. How crazy is that? Now, from almost 15 years, they've completed 400 houses around the world with just almost 20 designers or architects, right? Now, they talk about how their challenge is to keep going above and beyond that. But, what I've got now to talk about is the consideration of how they approach, what motivates them, and a few more topics around where they've got their favorite houses. But before that, I'm going to show you a couple of videos of who we are at Relax Radio. I want you to stay tuned to hear more about this. Good evening.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh. So that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies will ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, got me thinking. You want to stand out. Why do you want to stand out though so much, especially with these kind of shirts when you're writing? There must be a purpose behind it, right?
Well, when you say a purpose, Nick, what I do, I wear the shirts, mainly one, because they're nice and bright, so they make me visible, especially if I'm riding on the road.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that's very important, right? Because you want cars, yeah.
Very important. And also, like, people see me in like calves, and perhaps I shouldn't be saying this on here, I suppose, but in the bar afterwards.
All right.
And it gives them something to look at, and it makes them laugh. It makes them laugh, so that's why I do it.
Oh, and it could be a really good pickup line as well. Ladies who ask, "Hey, excuse me, so why are you wearing something so colorful?" I mean, hey, you can always have something up on your sleeve. I mean, you look like a guy who would do.
You know me too well. You know me too well, Nick. Again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son.
I want to talk about, how the generation gap, how much has changed, especially when you check the youth nowadays in comparison, to people back in the day.
I'd say when I was younger, it was more disciplined. Not now.
In comparison to now.
Not at all. Not now. The way things are nowadays, the younger generation, you seem that they can't accept the word no. If that makes sense. They can't
accept rejection, essentially, is all you're trying to say.
Yeah, they can't accept the word no. So if you, how did I do? Well, you didn't do very well. And they get upset. And when I was a youngster, my father used to say to me, because I used to be sport mad when I was very young, well, I still am sport mad, but like participating in different sports. And if I had a bad game, for example, he'd say to me, "You had one to forget." That's it.
Your dad sounds like a smart guy. I mean, yeah, that's the real fact of the matter, yeah.
He'd say to me, "You had one to forget. Get over it." And that was it. So I dust myself down and do it again. But now, if you say to a child, if I went up to a child and said, "You've had one to forget," God, there'd be an inquest. Me, why did you reject my son? Oh, I haven't rejected your son. Or daughter. I've just told them that they need to buck their ideas up.
That's the truth right there. I mean, if you think about it, if you check the generations, like right now in the US as well, I've seen a lot of these things as well. In the UK, you get medals for participation. But what's the point? What are you trying to? Yeah, what's the point? Either you win or you lose. People are so afraid to put that whole notion of lose. When it comes to right now, the generation gap is just crazy. How much a lot has changed. Social media has taken control of our lives, and we don't even realize it anymore. We're crippled because of it.
That's absolutely right, Nick. Because, as you said, nowadays it seems that you get rewarded for failure. For the life of me, Nick, I can't get my head around that. Perhaps I'm just getting old and morbid. I don't know. I just can't get my head around how you could be rewarded for failure.
Climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
You're talking about mental health. Well, if you went out and got some exercise in the fresh air, that would improve your mental health. It will make you feel better.
That's true. That is true. I wholeheartedly agree. But then for some people, it's how do you find the motivation to, especially when it comes to riding a bicycle, to do it again and again and again and again? It's a cycle that you have to be used to. How do you do it? What makes you wake up in the morning and decide, hey, I'm going to pick my bike up today. I'm going to cycle. What makes you want to do that?
What makes me want to do that?
Yeah. What could you give listeners, like people listening in right now? What kind of tip could you give them?
Well, the first tip I would give them, if you haven't tried it before, try it. open up new horizons. It'll make you fitter. It will definitely make you fitter. Cycling is one of the best forms of aerobic exercise you can do.
It sounds like, I mean, if you think about it, yeah, it sounds like great fun. Because what essentially you're trying to say is also at the same time, when you, if you look at it from this perspective, with regards to mental health, especially when you look at it with mental health, this is another way to fight it. You know, I feel like you go outside, you meet more people, you interact with, you know, socially, you will interact with more people, and you know, you're keeping fit, you're making connections, you're breathing in the good and exhaling the bad. I feel like that's a great thing right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got a better way with words than I have, I'll tell you. But you're quite right. What you say there. You're quite
I mean,
right.
I've been doing this for quite some time. I mean, hey, you'll get the hang of it.
I've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, so yeah.
That I can never really understand people staying in one room the whole day when you can have the world to see. I am a traveler. I travel. I love traveling. Traveling is just one of the things I do. And yeah, on top of my bucket list was, you know, to one time, you know, hopefully when I get there, go to Nepal and climb Mount Everest. That is one of that's in my bucket list. You're laughing, but that is the facts right there. I'd love to do that. That is something I'm looking forward to do, hopefully.
Climb Everest.
Mount Everest. I mean, okay, not the very tip of Mount Everest, maybe the base camp at least.
Base camp, yeah.
At least.
Would you be able to cycle there?
Oh.
That's right. This is Relax Radio. We are on the App Store. We are on Google Play as well. If you want to hear more of us, wherever you go, we are on YouTube. You can stream with us. You can stream with us on Facebook as well. Just let us know what channels you prefer. While you are at it, you know, you can also call me up on 07852473473 and let me know what you want to actually clarify with these videos, or what, if you are streaming in, you can let us know what you want to clarify with the topics we're talking about, because we go the effort to, you know, doing live videos for you. So if you have anything, you know, it's always better than, you know, reading a published article or watching a video that has already been out. So anything to do with your clarifications, you can actually get the conversation going live and get them out of the way. Now, coming back to the conversation with, you know, David Giovanni and Simon Evans. And now Simon Evans is the guy that basically started one of the most high demand design agencies in the UK, in Manchester. And this was launched in 2009. He's been running it for almost 15 years, almost 20 years. And now with almost 20 designers, he's done about 400 houses across the world. Now, what's inspiring is, you know, with all that, they've still got a lot of momentum. They still say that there's a long way to go. And they talk about how with homes, you are the guardian of something so personal. You work so hard for it, and it's where your family are. It's where you distress, and it's not something you can change easily if you don't like it, which is why you need to get it right. That is so true. That is, I could just, you know, repeat myself there. Now, he says that with homes, you are the guardian of something so personal. You work so hard for it, and, you know, it's where your family are. You de-stress here. It's something you can change easily. You can change it easily if you don't like it. And also, you have to get it. I mean, this is why you have to get it right, right? Now, Simon is basically a dad of two. He lives in a barn conversion in the Cheshire countryside, but doesn't have a man cave himself. Now, he is keen to stress that he loves working on home projects, whatever the budget, as it improves people's lives in his momentum. And he talks about how one of the best projects he's done is with an ex-council house in Knutsford, because he could basically see what it meant to that couple. And his key principle in life is to do business just beyond enjoyment, not for just, I mean, this is for reward, not financially, but emotionally. I mean, this is how you know someone's doing their job out of passion or out of love for what they do, right? And if you can get a client who really understands the value of your offer, but gets so much out of it from themselves, if you transform form a house and they're in tears of happiness, this is worth thousands of words for them, right? Now these words are basically, I mean, any person with a passionate mindset in what they're doing, not just selling something to a client, not just getting that money in, but having a happy client at the end of the day. These are things that actually motivate successful entrepreneurs, innovating things, finding new products or services that could give people solutions, finding new solutions rather, and then pushing these out to the market, pushing these to people that can actually use them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually break down a further conversation around Simon Evans. And if you have anything that you want to actually Google or ask me, just feel free to comment on this video. We can actually do a quick understanding of how the conversation with the design and the conversation around the architecture, we can break it down further. Now, Simon Evans has basically been featured on the Cheshire magazine as well, and also has Designed by Uber. So what we're going to do is break it down there and go deeper. I want you to stay tuned and listen to a few more things around him and just understand what more he's got. Now, there's such cool designs here. If you just check out Designed by Uber or the Cheshire magazine, I can basically run you through all these with you as well. So what we're gonna do is quickly just I'm actually running through this conversation of how Designed by Uber and then the story, how their company launched, and then running through what motivates them. So before that, I'm going to show you a couple of videos of who we are at Relax Radio. And after, I'm going to be talking about this in deeper. Stay tuned.